what we were fighting for. They didn't understand what we were actually arguing for. But I can tell you what, today if you walk in the halls of the State House, one thing that you see is, you see people everywhere who ask, when are those parents and families and loved ones coming back down to Montgomery to talk some more about the issues they're concerned about? People in this building now realize the epidemic of 1 in every 110 children in our country being diagnosed today with autism. We have become a force to be reckoned with, and it's because of the work and advocacy that you've brought about to this building. Give yourself a big round of applause. Some of you have been involved in this effort for many years, long before myself, long before Governor Folsom, long before anyone in this building realized the hard work that you are having to do. But I can tell you this, as we start moving forward in the next few years in our state's budgets, there's one thing we have to keep in mind. Services for those of us who have loved ones on the autism spectrum, those services need to be preserved, they need to be fully funded, and they need to make sure that we and our loved ones are taken care of to the maximum amount that our state can afford. Let me tell you this, when you come down here, people stand up and pay attention. They stand up and pay attention, and that's a victory unto itself. I want to tell you though, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a couple of our good friends, and one who I want to introduce to you now. You know, I'm very fond of saying autism or autism spectrum disorders are not a partisan issue. We have a lot of partisan debates in this building, and there's a good, healthy partisan debates that are going on today. But let me say this. We have been very fortunate today to have a friend for our community, someone who, when it came time to deal with working on autism-related issues, I had an opportunity to speak and meet with Governor Folsom, and I'm going to tell you, Lieutenant Governor Folsom didn't blink an eye. He stood up and said, you know, I'll do whatever it can to reach across the aisle to make sure I work with you, Cam, to work with anybody in the autism community, to work with any Republican, Democrat, regardless of where they are in the state. He stood up and said, I will put my hand across the aisle and I'll make sure we work together so that people in Alabama realize that problems with autism, the issues we face as a family and loved ones, they're not Republican issues or Democrat issues, but they're issues for everybody in the state of Alabama that both sides of the aisle should be concerned about. And I want to commend Governor Folsom for that. So at this time, let me introduce Lieutenant Governor from the great state of Alabama, Lieutenant Governor Jim Folsom Jr.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Cam, and thank you for all you do. And I just am proud to be here today to see all of you here once again, members of the task force, family members, supporters of the Autism Society in Alabama. We have come light years over the last 3 years. I mean light years. It was only 3 years ago when we really started this effort, and through your hard work, through coordination throughout the state, and through bringing the awareness of the problems of autism to the State House, you've raised the awareness of senators, legislators, governors. Everyone in this state is now aware of the issue of autism and how it affects over 8,000 young folks in the state. So it is so important that we continue to do that. I can't say enough about Cam Ward and he working with me in a bipartisan fashion. You know, there's one thing I think that Cam and I both understand and realize. One is that when you're addressing very difficult issues, they have to be addressed in a bipartisan effort, in a bipartisan manner. That's the only way you get things done in government and the legislature. Secondly, some things are just too important for politics. And by working with people and by putting things forward, we move our state and our agenda forward. You know, I know that many of you here today, your lives have been touched by this disorder. I know that my family has been touched by the disorder, as has Cam's, as have many other people in the legislature. So we are going to continue to work. We're going to continue to support your efforts. We've just begun. This is going to continue, and I plan to be involved. Whether I'm in government in the future or not, I plan to stay involved with the society and for all you do, because we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. and we're going to get there, because now, as I told some members earlier, and Cam and I were talking, that now when you come to Montgomery and you identify yourself as a supporter of the Autism Society and the effort to improve services throughout the state for autistic children, every member of the legislature, every senator and every House member knows why you're here, and they understand your problems now, and they support your problems now through funding and legislation. So let's keep it going. This is great. We've made great strides, and we'll see you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. We appreciate your support and all you've done for this organization as well. Quickly, I want to